Alright, so once we have a chi-squared value and we need to find the p-value. So again, this is in the case that you don't have the newer calculators, the 84s are newer, that have the chi-squared GOF on it. We had to use our calculator to get a chi-squared value. However, this will also work because you will see, all of you will need this because you will see questions sometimes on multiple choice where you are given a chi-squared value and you are given the degrees of freedom or the information to find the degrees of freedom, and then they ask you to find the p-value. And without any further information, I can't just use my calculator. So this is really for everyone. So this is going back to that problem about the M&Ms. The chi-squared value we calculated with the data that I made up was 2.815, and then because in this example we had 6 categories, my degrees of freedom would be 5, because degrees of freedom for chi-squared GOF is number of categories minus 1. So I've got my chi-squared 2.815, so then I would go to my chi-squared table, which is table C. It's on the back of the Z table, the one on the right. I'm going to go to my degrees of freedom on the left-hand column, so I want degrees of freedom 5, and then I'm looking in that row for where my chi-squared value would fit. So my chi-squared value is not necessarily going to be one of these exact values. Sorry about that noise. I'm making coffee right now. But we're going to find where it fits. So my chi-squared was 2.815. So 2.815 obviously is below the lowest number in this row. The lowest number is 6.63. 2.815 is obviously to the left of that. My p-values are found up here at the top. If you notice here, this p-value is 0.25, and that is the highest p-value. So since my chi-squared value is to the left of this lowest chi-squared value on here, that tells me my p-value is going to be to the left, which would mean it's going to be higher than 0.25. So what I would write on a problem like this, if I had to use the table, is I would say p-value is greater than 0.25. That's all I can say. It's not super specific, but it's still enough to write a conclusion. If we had had a new calculator and we used it to find our p-value, it would have given us chi-squared GOF on that newer calculator will give you the p-value. It is 0.7284, so obviously greater than 0.25. So since it's greater than our alpha of 0.10, we fail to reject the null. So we don't have to know exactly what it is to write a conclusion. If we know that it's greater than 0.25, then we know that it's greater than our alpha of 0.10, and we can make that conclusion from there. So going back to the table, let's say our degrees of freedom was 5, and the chi-squared value we got was like 10.2. So I would look through here, and I know that 10.2 is between these two values right here, between 9.24 and 11.07. So that tells me my p-value is between 0.05 and 0.10. If I got a chi-squared value of, say, 112, then I know my chi-squared value is beyond the highest number in that row, which would tell me that my p-value is below the lowest p-value in that row. So my p-value in that case would be less than 0.0005. So that is just a quick little how we use the chi-squared table to find or estimate a p-value. You will have to do this occasionally on multiple choice. Like I said, you need to know how to use the table. So it's a good thing for everyone to know.